Thanks for stopping in. My name is Kyser. I have over 6 years of experience in cybersecurity and currently work as a full-time penetration tester, and I'm here to help you build your hacking and cybersecurity knowledge. Today we have a new type of live stream. I haven't done one like this before, so we're going to be doing the PortSwigger. That's the creator of Burp Suite, the popular web proxy tool. Web Security Academy. So I don't have a whole lot of experience in Web Security Academy. I've done training on pretty much every other kind of platform. And I have done the Web Security Academy before, but not extensively. And I wanted to change that. And I also wanted to provide a variety into the streams because Hack the Box isn't the end all be all for training. And I wanted to add a variety in the type of training that I'm throwing out there. So, new type of stream. Let me know if you're watching this on the past broadcast, if you want to see more PortSwigger Web Security Academy or less, and let me know what kind of direction you want to see me go with the Web Security Academy, because there's a bunch of ways we can do it. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. This demo is for educational purposes only. Ethical hacking is legal and differs from illegal hacking. Always ensure you have legal permission before performing what you see in this demo. So you can see we are here on the Web Security Academy dashboard. If I scroll down, you can see that I have only completed 6 modules out of, I don't even know how many total there is. There's 171 practitioner, I've completed 5. There's 59 apprentice, I've completed 1. And then there's 39 expert level rooms or modules, labs, they're called labs. And I've completed 0 experts. So you can see haven't completed a whole lot here. And because of that, I'm going to start. So they actually just released these learning paths according to the website. I don't know how long ago they've added these, but they added these learning paths. Apparently these are new. So if you click on learning paths and it says Web Security Academy learning paths are carefully curated pathways provided a structured approach to learning web security, empowering you to advance at your own pace while ensuring a deep understanding of the subject matter. And you can see there's all kinds of learning paths. We got API testing, web LLM attacks. That's large language models. That's AI, by the way. Cross-site request forgery, CSRF, clickjacking, GraphQL, cross-origin resource sharing, CORS, NoSQL injection, race conditions, SQL injection, authentication vulnerabilities, server-side request forgery, SSRF, prototype pollution. I don't even know what that is. That's pretty cool. Server-side vulnerabilities, which is what we're going to be diving into today because it's the only apprentice level learning path. So that I feel like that's because of that. This is a good place to start because practitioner is a higher level than apprentice on this Web Security Academy. So we're starting with the apprentice one. It's the only apprentice one, server-side vulnerabilities. Moving on, we got file upload vulnerabilities, path traversal, WebSocket vulnerabilities, and web cache deception. Bunch of good stuff. Welcome to the stream, WireDogSec. How's it going, man? I know you've been sitting in the chat for a minute. I wanted to get through my introduction before I welcome to the stream. But thank you so much for being here. And thanks for sharing the stream, as always, on LinkedIn. I really appreciate that. And yeah, how you doing today? All right, so like I said, we are doing server-side vulnerabilities first. You see, I have 0 of 52. Actually, let's identify where I've spent my time at. Actually, I think it's only cross-site request forgery, CSRF. Okay, that's kind of weird because I know I completed like 5 CSRFs and I got 0 out of 49 on the progress bar. So I don't know. Apparently, every lab that I've done isn't part of any of the learning paths. You can see I got 0s in everything. And guys, what I'm thinking here is I'm knock these out one at a time. I think it's going to be a long endeavor. Like if we do PortSwigger Web Security Academy every single Thursday, this might take a couple years for me to get through all of it because I don't know how long it's going to take, but I feel like it's going to be a long adventure. Maybe I use a different account. No, I definitely use this account because look, if I go to my dashboard, you can clearly see level progress. progress. I progress. Progress. 1 out of 59 for apprentice. 5 out of 171 for practitioner. So I've completed 6 labs. You can see I've completed 2% of the labs. And I know they were in CSRF. I know that for a fact. But yeah, as I was saying, it's going to take a long time to get through these learning paths. I don't know how long it's going to take, but we'll see if there's a lot of interest in this, then we'll just keep this. We'll just make this a Thursday thing every single day. Or not every single day, every single week, every Thursday we can do PortSwigger Academy. But I'm going to let the audience dictate that. So if we got like lower view numbers than Hack the Box, then I'll probably, after, 10, 20 streams or so, I'll probably stop this. And if you absolutely hate it, just let me know. So I guess this is a brand new thing for me on the stream. So the stream is to help you guys out. If you guys want to see me go do something else, if you'd rather see me do Try Hack Me, then we'll switch it over to Try Hack Me. If you'd rather see me do, there's all kinds of other ones. There's Pico CTF, there's Pentester Labs, I know. There's a bunch of other training that you can stream, so it doesn't have to be PortSwigger Academy. And if you want to see me go back to Hack the Box, let me know that too. Although I kind of want to get away from Hack the Box just because, like I said, I want to have a variety. I want to have Hack the Box streams on Sunday and then some other kind of stream on Thursdays. Anyways, let's go ahead and start doing this. Let's stop rambling here. So server-side vulnerabilities. This learning path introduces you to a range of common server-side vulnerabilities. This is perfect if you're new to web security and want to get an overview of the kinds of vulnerabilities that exist, as well as how an attacker might identify and exploit them in real-world systems. We can view the path. So we have path traversal, access control, authentication, server-side request forgery, file upload vulnerabilities, OS command injection, and SQL injection. So this is really just like the basics of everything, which is really good because it gives you like literally the basics of the main things. Let's go ahead and click on get started here. By the way, guys, I'm going to read this word for word. If you guys don't want me to do that and you'd rather me read it to myself, let me know. But until someone says otherwise, I'm just going to read this word for word. Because this is learning for me too. I mean, I know what path traversal is. I've exploited path traversals before. So this isn't like brand new to me, but this lab I haven't read before. So I am just going to read this word for word because I haven't read it yet. What is path traversal? Path traversal is also known as directory traversal. These vulnerabilities enable an attacker to read arbitrary files on the server that is running an application. This might include application code and data, credentials for backend systems, sensitive operating system files. In some cases, an attacker might be able to write to arbitrary files on the server, allowing them to modify application data or behavior and ultimately take full control of the server. All right, we're just going to continue along, baby. Here we go. This is exciting. This is new. This is new and exciting to me. I don't know how long this will take before it gets boring, but we do know it's top tier training. Everyone says it's top tier training. Reading arbitrary files via path traversal. Imagine a shopping application that displays images of items for sale. This might load an image using the following HTML. So we got an image source and then the path to the source. So we got file name 218.png. The load image URL takes a file name parameter and returns the contents of the specified file. The image files are stored on disk in the location /var/www/images. To return an image, the application appends the requested file name to the space directory and uses a file system API to read the contents of the file. In other words, the application reads from the following path: /var/www/images/218.png. This application implements no defenses against path traversal attacks. As a result, an attacker can request the following URL to retrieve the Etsy password file from the server's file system. So we got that same file path, but then we got the infamous // etc password. This causes the application to read the following path: /var /www /images /etc /password. The sequence / is valid within a file path. It means to step up one level in the directory structure. The 3 consecutive / sequences step up from /var /www /images the file system root, and so to the file system root, and so the file that is actually read is /etc /password. On Unix-based operating systems, this is the standard file containing details of the users that are registered on the server, but an attacker could retrieve other arbitrary files using the same technique. On Windows, both // and .. backslash, so this is .. and .. are valid directory traversal sequences. The following is an example of an equivalent attack against a Windows-based server. So we got pretty much the same thing with the slashes going the other way. So these are backslashes, and we are looking at Windows/win.ini. All right, well, that was easy. We now got access to lab. All right. Lab, file path traversal simple case. This lab contains a path traversal vulnerability in the display of product images. To solve this lab, retrieve the contents of Etsy password file. All right, let's go ahead and access the lab. You know what we need to do is we need to get a different playlist for our Burp Suite Academy streams. I feel like it's got a different vibe to it, you know what I mean? This is like a learning thing, and Hidebox is more of an exploiting thing, you know? I mean, we are exploiting a thing, but this is not the same as Hidebox. Alright, so this is the lab, right? Like, this is the lab? So I should be able to just // Etsy /swd. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we gotta look at the image. So let's go ahead and copy image link and then paste the image link in here. All right, cool. Got an image link. Okay, this is where the vulnerability is. File name equals // Etsy /passwd. I probably don't need that many slashes, but I like to throw in extra ones just because you never know. Could be a very long directory. Could not be displayed because it contains errors. Bro, what? This is actually harder than I thought it was going to be. Why did that not work? Congratulations, you solved the lab. I did? Where? How? How did I solve it, bro? How did I solve this? It says, retrieve the contents of Etsy password. I mean, it says I got an error here. I don't see Etsy password. Where did I solve it at? Did I solve it here? Or did I solve it here? I'm confused, bro. What? I never saw Etsy password and I solved it. Hey man, you gotta take the wins when you can get them. Let's click the solution. I'm in burp. Oh, you know what? That's what we gotta do. We gotta use burp suite. How do we? That's where we messed up. I bet you. Okay, that's where we messed up. Let's go ahead and open up burp here. That makes sense. View page source. Maybe. What is it? Control U in Firefox. Control U. I could have sworn it was control U. Or maybe that is the source. I don't know. I think it's if we just use burp suite here. If we hit proxy, we turn on burp. And then we run this again. Okay, it didn't get sent to my proxy somehow. Oh yeah, it did. Here it goes. Oh, there it is. Okay. Perfect. We did get it. So the browser says there's an error, but if you capture it in Burp Suite, we actually get Etsy password. So here we go. That's where we messed up. Alright, from here on out, everything's going through Burp. I don't know why I thought we could just see it without Burp. I don't know why I thought that. But yeah, we got this is our Etsy password right here. Cool. Let's go full screen that so you guys can see better. But let's minimize it now because we're moving on to the next lab. Skip this lab? I don't want to skip. Oh, I think if I hit refresh, it'll say solve now. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Dang, dude, I don't know what it is, but when you see like the check mark and it's like solved on any lab, it's like, dude, I'm making progress. I'm getting better today, you know? And that's what gets me going. One of the some of the labs in the TCM, one of the TCM courses that I was doing didn't work, and it drove me nuts, the fact that I could not put the check mark in it. You know what I mean? It drove me absolutely bonkers because I like that feeling of just seeing check mark. Yep, check mark, we did it. Yep, check mark, we did it. Like I have to feel like I'm making progress. That's what keeps me going. What's up, Nixon? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping in. Glad to see you here. How you doing today? Access control. What is access control? Access control is the application of constraints on who or what is authorized to perform actions or access resources. In the context of web applications, dang, we already did 4 out of 52. This doesn't count the labs. This counts any page that you read as considered 1. So, okay, it's not 52 problems. It's like 50. You have to read through 52 pages in some of these are labs. Interesting. All right, back to what we was doing. In the context of web applications, access control is dependent on authentication and session management. Authentication confirms that the user is who they say they are. Session management identifies which subsequent HTTP requests are being made by that same user. Access control determines whether the user is allowed to carry out the action that they are attempting to perform. Broken access controls are common and often present a critical security vulnerability. Design and management of access controls is a complex and dynamic problem that applies business, organizational, and legal constraints to a technical implementation. Access control design decisions have to be made by humans, so the potential for errors is high. And we got this graphic here, so we got admin deleting users. We have admins transferring money. Dang. Not admins, we have hackers. Well, I guess that hacker took control of admin and deleted users. Vertical privilege escalation. If a user can gain access to functionality that they are not permitted to access, then this is vertical privilege escalation. For example, if a non-administrator user can gain access to an admin page where they can delete user accounts, then this is vertical privilege escalation. Dude, this is crazy because this counts as 1. Like they just put like literally 2 sentences in here, not even a paragraph. I mean, technically it is a paragraph, but it's not really a paragraph. It's a very short paragraph, 2 sentences, and it's like, all right, well, now we're at 6 of 52. This might go by a lot faster than I thought. We might zoom through these. I didn't think it was going to be this fast. I told you I was new to the Web Security Academy, guys. Like, haven't done a whole lot of this. And the ones I did were hard, too. I did the apprentice level stuff. Or not apprentice, the practitioner level stuff, not the apprentice level stuff before. Unprotected functionality. At its most basic, vertical privilege escalation arises when an application does not enforce any protection for sensitive functionality. For example, administrative functions might be linked from an administrator's welcome page but not from a user's welcome page. However, a user might be able to access the administrative functions by browsing to the relevant admin URL. For example, a website might host sensitive functionality at the following URL: insecurewebsite.com/admin. This might be accessible by any user, not only administrator users who have a link to the functionality in their user interface. In some cases, the administrator URL might be disclosed in other locations, such as robots.txt file, insecurewebsite.com/robots.txt. Even if the URL is disclosed anywhere, an attacker may be able to use a word list. Isn't disclosed. Even if the URL isn't disclosed anywhere, an attacker might be able to use a word list to brute force the location of sensitive functionality, which we do that all the time on pretty much every Hindbox stream. Unprotected admin functionality. This lab has an unprotected admin panel. Solve the lab by deleting user Carlos. Yeah, dude, Carlos, you gone, boy. We're getting you out of here, dude. Get out of my database. Who the heck you think you are, Carlos? Alright, let's go and access the lab. Let's close out of these other two labs. That's a cool belt. Look at that 6-pack beer belt. This shop is legit, dude. Alright, so we gotta figure out, let's just type in /admin and see what happens. Not found. Alright, well, let's type in /robots.txt. Disallow administrator panel. Okay, well, we didn't have to brute force it. That was the next thing I was gonna try. But we always take the path of least resistance. In this case, it was robots.txt. Let's go to the administrator panel. And we're logged in already. His name's Wiener, bro? Who did this? Why is this acceptable? The undeleted Wiener too. Screw him. Did I solve the lab by doing that? Nah, you have to actually delete Carlos. Dude, I deleted Wiener too. Delete Carlos. Get out of here, Carlos. Get out of the database. Ain't nobody here now. Alright, well, we solved that one. Moving on along. Don't need to check the solution. I feel pretty confident in, you know, if I solve something accidentally, then I'll click the solution. Like the last time, I'm like, how did I solve this? So, but that time I don't really need to see the solution. Unprotected functionality continued. The sequel. In some cases, sensitive functionality is concealed by giving it a less predictable URL. This is an example of so-called security by obscurity. However, hiding sensitive functionality does not provide effective access controls because users might discover the obfuscated URL in a number of ways. Imagine an application that hosts administrative functions at the URL. The same thing /administrator panel -YB556. This might not be directly guessable by an attacker. However, the application might still leak the URL to users. The URL might disclose in JavaScript that constructs the user interface based on the user's role. Alright, so it says, you know, we got JavaScript here. So is admin's false, so we're not. If you are an admin, then you get admin panel tag, document create element A, admin panel tag set attribute, so it sets the attribute to administrator panel YB556. Alright. This script adds a link to the user's UI if they are an admin user. However, the script containing the URL is visible to all users regardless of their role. Alright, that makes sense to me. Moving on. Lab unprotected admin functionality with unpredictable URL. This lab has an unprotected admin panel. It's located at an unpredictable location, but the location is disclosed somewhere in the application. Solve the lab by accessing the admin panel and using it to delete the user, Carlos. Dude, we are killing Carlos today. Let's go access the lab. Alright, so what I want to do here is actually I want to clear my HTTP history in Burp Suite and start fresh, and then we're going to refresh this again, and we're just going to look at some of this stuff. So I don't see anything here in the response that's giving us information. How did YouTube pop up here, dude? Huh? Is YouTube on this page? I don't understand how YouTube got into my Burp Suite history. I guess it's YouTube. That's weird. Academy. Okay. Well, let's just click around. Let's click on my account, maybe. Username, password. We don't have none of that. Let's do a test and hit log in here. Don't save. And then let's look at the traffic here. Unprotected admin functionality with unpredictable. Let's just tell me what the name of the lab is. Here we go. This is very similar to what the lab was telling us. So it's /admin into FINJ. So this is it right here. Let's go ahead and copy that. And then type in that. And there we go. And we got Wiener and Carlos again. So let's go ahead and delete Carlos. We'll let Wiener live this time because we're not actually supposed to kill Wiener off. So we'll let him live this time. All right, moving on. Let's go ahead and refresh and hit continue. Parameter-based access control methods. Some applications determine the user's access rights or roles at login and then store the information in a user-controlled location. This could be a hidden field, a cookie, a preset query, string parameter. The application makes access control decisions based on the submitted value. For example, this approach is insecure because the user can modify the value in access functionality they're not authorized to, such as administrative functions. So you see they got the admin equals true. So if you log in, you see admin equals false, you can just type in true and then be an admin. Same thing for role, you can just change your role. You can iterate to that, role 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc., etc. This one should be pretty easy. These labs take a minute to load up though. I guess it's got to build because it does bring up your own private instances of like a web page, and so it does make sense that they put them to load up for. Dude, we get a giant enter key. All right, so we should be able to go to my account here, log in. We don't have anything. Let's go view details. Oh, yeah, there we go. Solve the lab by accessing the admin panel and using it to delete the user Carlos. You can log in your own account using the following credentials. Wiener Peter? Bro, we're Wiener? I'm Wiener, bro? I'm Wiener. I deleted myself in the first lab. Sorry, the second lab? I killed myself? Oh my gosh. GG's. Dang, dude. We're Wiener, bro. We've been Wiener this whole time. That's wild. Let's go ahead and log in. My account. I'm in. Your username is Wiener. Thank you. ID equals Wiener. Can we do like ID equals admin? No, that didn't work. Let's go back. Let's go back to my account. That's all I can do. Update email. Kyser at kyserclark.com. What's that do? Let's go home. View details. My account. Let's check our burp traffic here. Oh, here we go. So this is my account ID equals Wiener. If we type, so we got admin equals false here. So if we just send this to your repeater and then change this to true, that should give us admin access. Let's go ahead and send that over. Let's do render. Your username is Wiener. Your email is Kyser at kyserclark.com. But we got the admin panel. Look at that. So what if we go back over here? If we refresh this, are we an admin now? We are not. Let's do this. What's up, Julio? Thanks for stopping in. How you doing today? Glad to see you here. All right. Let's go ahead and intercept this. So we turn intercept on. I just intercepted a blank thing. Forward. Ping pong. All right. So we'll intercept this. We'll hit enter on this to refresh this. Forward. Okay, so this is what I want to modify. So we'll change admin to true. And hit forward and on that. Forward on that. This is admin false again. So let's change this to true. True. Forward. Okay, so now if we go back over here, we should be an admin. Yep, there's an admin dashboard. So we can probably turn intercept off at this point. Admin panel. Admin interface only available if logged in as an administrator. We have to intercept every request. So let's go ahead and turn intercept back on. I was wrong about turning it off. So admin panel. Yeah, it wants to go to false every single time. But if I just manually change it to admin equals true every single time, then will probably work. So here it pops up again. So change this to true again. Forward. All right, go back over here. All right, we got users. We'll delete Carlos. This is going to get intercepted again. And once again, we have to change admin to true. Now you actually already know how to. You already have to know how to use Burp Suite to get to these labs, because otherwise, like if you don't know how to forward and intercept traffic, then you're kind of screwed for these labs. They should do like an introduction to Burp before you dive into this. Anyways, admin equals true. Forward. This is the YouTube again. I don't know why that keeps popping up. Once again, this is admin equals false, so change that to true. Forward there. Once again, this pops up. True. We'll just keep hitting this forward until it doesn't. Okay. Doesn't look like anything's popped up. User successfully deleted, and then congratulations, you saw the lab. Cool. Turn yourself off now. Refresh. And we saw the lab. Let's go. Horizontal privilege escalation. Horizontal privilege escalation occurs if a user is able to gain access to resources belonging to another user instead of their own resources of that type. For example, if an employee can access the records of another employee as well as their own, then this is horizontal privilege escalation. Horizontal privilege escalation attacks may use similar types of exploit methods to vertical privilege escalation. For example, a user might access their own account page by using the following URL. So we got my account, !ID equals 123. If an attacker modifies the ID value to that of another user, they might gain access to another user's account page and the associated data and functions. What's up, Trosshack? How's it going? Thanks for stopping in. Glad to see you here. Hey, just got here. Is this just a lab on PortSwigger? Yeah, it's the Web Security Academy labs. These are actually the beginning level labs. Nothing crazy in depth here. We're just going over the easy stuff, and then we're working our way towards the hard stuff. Don't know how long it's going to take. Could take weeks, could take months, could take years. But we're actually zooming right past this easy stuff, so. Note, this is an example of an insecure direct object reference IDOR vulnerability. This type of vulnerability arises when user control parameter values are used to access resources or functions directly. In some applications, the exploitable parameter does not have a predictable value. For example, instead of incrementing number, an application might use a globally unique identifiers, GUIDs, to identify users. This may prevent an attacker from guessing or predicting another user's identity. However, the GUIDs belonging to other users might be disclosed elsewhere in an application where users are reinforced, such as user messages or reviews. Also, you could fuzz them and brute force them too. Use a cross-site scripting payload on ID and see if it's vulnerable to it. That's that'd be interesting to try. Alright, lab. User ID controlled by a request parameter with unpredictable user IDs. This lab has horizontal privilege escalation vulnerability on the user account page, but identifies users with GUIDs. To solve the lab, find the GUID for Carlos, then submit his API key as the solution. You can log in to your own account using the following credentials. Wiener Peter. We're going to see this a lot, I have a feeling. I do remember seeing this in the labs I did, so I think they always give you Wiener Peter, which is hilarious. What a name to use. And password, I guess. Let's go ahead and access the lab. We can close out of our old lab. We like the blog. Fake news. I'm thinking if I hit view post, yeah, here's a post by Carlos. Let's click on Carlos here. To view post. So this is Carlos. So I've clicked Carlos a couple times now. Let's go to our so this is his post, so I'm assuming there might be like an ID in here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. /blogs user ID equals. It's a very long string. That would be pretty hard to fuzz and brute force, but it's in the response, so we don't even need to take a guess. So all we have to do now is my account. I think if we do, let's log into my account first. Hit login. Alright, so if I just change my ID, so delete my ID and paste Carlos's ID, we might be able to take over the account. Okay, we are Carlos. Was it we have to delete him? Find the GUID and then submit his API key as a solution. Where do I submit his API key at? I got his API key. Cool. Where do I submit that at? Do I hit solution? It tells you the solution. How do I submit it? What's mean by submit? I don't know what it means by submit. Orange button. Oh my god, it's right in front of me. It's right there. If it was a snake, it would have bit me. Yeah, that took me a minute to figure out. By the way, I think you guys are on a little bit of a delay, but yeah, that took me a minute. That's funny, dude. I don't like how, yeah, that blended right in to my, right into the environment, man. It was like camouflage because everything else was orange, you know. So I just didn't think that was the but. But okay, now we know. Oh man, you can tell I'm definitely new to these labs, man. I wasn't making that up. I was not making that up. Like I for real have never done these. Well, like I said, I've done 6, but it's been over a year since I've been in the PortSwigger Academy. So, and like I said, I only did 6 labs. We're already past. I think we've done 4 or 5 now. But the other ones I did were way harder than these ones. Like I said, I did apprentice level stuff. Alright, here we go. Continuing on. Horizontal to vertical privilege escalation. Often, horizontal privilege escalation attacks can be turned into vertical privilege escalation by compromising a more privileged user. For example, a horizontal escalation might allow an attacker to reset or capture the password belonging to another user. If the attacker targets an administrator user and compromises their account, then they can gain administrative access and so perform vertical privilege escalation. An attacker might be able to gain access to another user's account page using the parameter tampering technique already described for horizontal privilege escalation. If the target user is an application administrator, then an attacker will gain access to the administrator account page. This page might disclose an administrator's password or provide a means of changing it, or might provide direct access to privileged functionality. Okay, so this is basically just vertical privilege escalation in the end, but it's slightly different because you're going to another user who's an admin. It's kind of weird. User controlled by request parameter with password disclosure. This lab has user account page that contains the current user's existing password, pre-filled in a mass input. To solve the lab, retrieve the administrator's password and then delete the user Carlos. You can log in your own account using the following credentials. Let's go ahead and access the lab here. let's go ahead and log into my account first. So we're Wiener and Peter logging in. Don't save. Okay. Can we say Carlos? Carlos. Your username is Carlos. I don't know what the password is. What if I copy this? I can't copy. Well, what if I Control C? See if I can like Control V. Okay, is this his password? Or is that his API key? I think that was his API key from before. We'll just update the password. What am I thinking? All I do is type in password. Update password. Don't save. Alright, let's go ahead. My account. Log out. My account again. Username. Carlos. Password. Password. Log in. It's invalid. I think I understand what I did wrong. Let's go ahead and my account again. Username. Wiener. Password. Peter. What's up, Ferula, Black Eye? We're going to stream. Thanks for hopping in. Glad to see you here. Hope you're having a great night. Same. I hope you're having a great night. I am having a great night. It's been good so far. Am I not allowed to access my own account now? Or did I change my... Oh, I changed my own password to password. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I understand what I did wrong. So we need to do ID equals Carlos. Hit enter. Okay, our username is Carlos. So what if we did intercept on forward that, and then it just keeps sending me pings and pongs. Okay, so update password here, and then forward this. Okay, here is update password. This is Carlos's password. I'm going to put this in my notes. Alright, so I should be able to turn off intercept now. And I should be able to just hit my account and log out of my account. Ooh, man, I'm gonna struggle with your name, but you got Tux, the Linux penguin, as the avatar, so that's pretty dope. But I don't know how to say your name. Avsoveris? I definitely butchered that. Correct me and let me know how to say that if you don't mind. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping in. Glad to see you here. I appreciate you stopping in. Carlos, and then we're going to paste that password that we found. We are Carlos. Cool. What was our goal again? It was delete user Carlos, so we got to become an admin somehow. Can I just type in admin? Well, that didn't work. Let's go to our proxy. We saw the slide, retrieve the administrator's password, then use it to delete user Carlos. Huh. Well, we took over Carlos's account. I don't know how to take over the... Well, what if we did the same thing? I tried admin here. I don't know why I copied admin, like I don't know how to spell it or something. We'll paste administrator in here, see what that does. Alright, cool. Now if we hit intercept and then we hit update password, that's the admin password right there. And then we just go and forward that. Actually, just turn off intercept, and then we'll hit my account, log out of Carlos's account, and we'll log in as administrator, and paste the password that we found. Don't save. Alright, so we are the administrator. Let's hit admin panel and delete user Carlos. And we did it. Look at that. Easy mode. So Wi-Fi addict. The password is the password of the administrator. No, the first one we got was definitely Carlos's password. I went for Carlos's account because I thought that's what it wanted us to do. Like take over Carlos's account first. We didn't have to do that. Let's go ahead and hit continue and moving on. Also, Wi-Fi, thanks for stopping in. How you doing today? Authentication vulnerabilities. Conceptually, authentication vulnerabilities are easy to understand. However, they're usually critical because of the clear relationship between authentication and security. Authentication vulnerabilities can allow attackers to gain access to sensitive data and functionality. They also expose additional attack surface for further exploits. For this reason, it's important to learn how to identify and exploit authentication vulnerabilities and how to bypass common protection measures. In this section, we explain the most common authentication mechanisms used by websites, potential vulnerabilities in these mechanisms, inherent vulnerabilities in different authentication mechanisms, typical vulnerabilities that are introduced by their improper implementation, how you can make your own authentication mechanisms as robust as possible. Looks like they're trying to exploit a forgot password here. That's pretty dope. Let's go and continue on. What is the difference between authentication and authorization? Authentication is the process of verifying that a user is who they claim to be. Authorization involves verifying whether a user is allowed to do something. For example, authentication determines whether someone attempting to access a website with the username Carlos123 really is the same person who created this account. Once Carlos123 is authenticated, their permissions determine what they are authorized to do. For example, they may be authorized to access personal information about other users or perform actions such as deleting another user's account. Brute force attacks. A brute force attack is when an attacker uses a system of trial and error to guess valid user credentials. These attacks are typically automated using word lists of usernames and passwords. Automating this process, especially using dedicated tools, potentially enables an attacker to make fast numbers of login attempts at high speed. Brute forcing is not always just a case of making completely random guesses at usernames and passwords. By also using basic logic or publicly available knowledge, attackers can fine-tune brute force attacks to make much more educated guesses. This considerably increases the efficiency of such attacks. Websites that rely on password-based login as their sole method of authenticating users can be highly vulnerable if they do not implement sufficient brute force protection. Brute force usernames. Usernames are especially easy to guess if they conform to a recognizable pattern, such as email addresses. For example, it is very common to see business logins in the format firstname.lastname@somecompany.com. However, even if is no obvious pattern, sometimes even high privilege accounts are created using predictable usernames such as admin or administrator. During auditing, check whether the website discloses potential usernames publicly. For example, are you able to access user profiles without logging in? Even if the actual content of the profile is hidden, the name used in the profile is sometimes the same as the login username. You should also, whoa, what happened here? Oh my god, what I got a big black box for? You should also check HTTP responses to see if any email addresses are disclosed. Occasionally, responses contain email addresses of high privilege users such as administrators or IT support. Brute forcing passwords. Passwords can similarly be brute force, with difficulty varying based on the strength of the password. Happened to me again. Many websites adopt some form of password policy which forces users to create high entropy passwords that are theoretical, at least harder to crack using brute force alone. This typically involves enforcing passwords with a minimum number of characters, a mixture of upper and lower case, at least one special character, and a number, no repeating characters. What else is there? That's pretty much it. Brute forcing passwords continued. However, while high entropy passwords are difficult for computers alone to crack, we can use basic knowledge of human behavior to exploit the vulnerabilities that users unwittingly introduce to this system. Rather than creating a strong password with a random combination of characters, users often take a password that they can remember and try to crowbar it into fitting the password policy. For example, if my password is not allowed, users may try something like my password $1 or my P4 $W0RD instead. In cases where the policy requires users to change their passwords on a regular basis, it is also common for users to make minor predictable changes to their preferred password. For example, password 1 becomes password 1 ? Or my password 2 ! They also do things like spring 2023, summer 2024, fall 2024, winter 2024. That's common as well. This knowledge of likely credentials and predictable patterns means that brute forcing attacks can often be much more sophisticated and therefore effective than simply iterating through every possible combination of characters. Username enumeration. Username enumeration is when an attacker is able to observe changes in the website's behavior in order to identify whether a given username is valid. Username enumeration typically occurs either on the login page, for example, when you enter a valid username but an incorrect password, or on registration forms when you enter a username that is already taken. This greatly reduces the time and effort required to brute force a login because the attacker is quickly able to generate a short list of valid usernames. Lab, username enumeration via different responses. This lab is vulnerable to username enumeration and password brute force attacks. It has an account with a predictable username and password, which can be found in the following word list. Let's open this in a new tab and see what we get. Alright. Candidate passwords. Cool. To solve this lab, enumerate a valid username, brute force this user's password, then access their account page. Access the lab. We can close out of this tab, we can close out of this tab. we hit my account, and then we can do like test, and then we can intercept this, log in, don't save, forward. Okay, we can do this. We can right click, send an intruder, go to intruder, sniper. So we want test as a parameter and the test as the other parameter. Add that. And then we want to change our attack. This So we want to use cluster bomb. I had to read all this. I can't remember which one it was. So it's cluster bomb. This attack uses multiple payload sets. There's different payload sets for each defined position, up to maximum of 20. The attack iterates through each payload set in turn so that all permutations of payload combinations are tested. We can go to payloads. Payload set 1 is we want the usernames. Oh man, I hit Control A and it selected literally everything. I just wanted everything in this box. Oh my gosh. Copy that. And we will paste that in here. We'll switch over to payload 2. And then we want to grab our passwords. Copy that. And paste our passwords. And we're going to make 10,000 requests. I don't know how long this is going to take. This is the free version of Burp. I think we already figured it out. Maybe not. I don't know. Response received. No, length. That's what we need to pay attention to if the length is different. Bro, this is too slow. What we need to do is yeah, I don't like how slow this is. Go ahead and stop this. I thought we'd go a little bit faster than that. I'll show you guys how to use it. I'll show you guys how to do this a little bit faster. Yeah, FFUF, that's what I'm going to do. So I actually learned this just recently. I didn't know you could do this with FFUS. I did not know that you can copy this entire request and send it to FFUF. But before we do that, we want to do fuzz user and fuzz password. Oh, we'll just do fuzz pass. And then we can right click, we can copy to a file. Let's make a new directory. Can I make a new folder? Let's just call it Web Academy. What is FFUF? We're about to find out today. You're gonna learn today. What's up, Jonathan? Thanks for stopping in. Glad to see you here. Alright, so we're gonna make a new directory here, Web Academy, and we are going to save this file here. A file name. We'll just call this request.txt. Save. If I go to my terminal here and we change directory into what did we just call it? I literally just made it. Web Academy. And ls cat request.txt, And that is the request that we just saved. Now we need to do something like this. Sorry, I had this in my notes. So ffuf -requests, and we give it our request txt file, and then do request protocol, which is HTTP, and then we are doing mode cluster bomb, and then -w word list. We actually need to make the word list, so let's go ahead and new tab, and then do nano users.txt. Copy that and paste users txt in here. Control X, Y, enter to save. And then let's go ahead and grab our. Oh, I got this backwards. These are the passwords. These are the usernames. Okay, I have it backwards. Let's do nano. No. Move users.txt. Hey, Jonathan. Thanks for the super chat. Wow, I really appreciate it. That's the first super chat we ever had. A purple cat. That's amazing. Thank you very much for the super chat. Like I said, the first ever super chatter of the stream. So thanks. I really do appreciate that. That's crazy. That's wild. I was not expecting that. All right, so we're going to move users.txt to passwords.txt. So now that same file, I'm just renaming the file from users.txt to passwords.txt, and then we want to nano users.txt because we want to make a new users.txt. Paste this in here. Or is this the password? No, this is users. Okay, Control Y, enter. Never done it before, but learning a lot. That's good to know. Okay, so now we have two files. We have passwords.txt and user.txt, and then we got our request.txt. All right. So word list for the users is obviously user.txt, and then the word list for the pass is passwords.txt, and then filter size, we don't know what that is yet, so we're just going to hold off on that. We're just going to submit this as it is. Thanks. Learn more from your YouTube. Yeah, I will zoom in on the terminal. Thank you for reminding me. I'm glad you learned a lot from the YouTube, Jonathan. I appreciate you watching and consuming the content. I'm glad you got some value out of it. And thanks for the support. My English is bad. Good night. Good studies. You know what? That's, I mean, I can read it. So you're doing pretty good, in my opinion. Yeah, no, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. If you started from website, what would you start with? X. I saw the subdomains. Is that right? I don't know what your question means, Jonathan. I'm not sure what you're asking. Anyways, this is how you do a cluster bomb attack in ffuf. We are giving it the request, which is this, and then we're doing request protocol, which is HTTP. I think it is. Is it HTTP or is it HTTPS? It's HTTPS. So let's actually change this to HTTPS. Oops. Mode is cluster bomb, which means we're taking two payload sets. We got usernames and passwords, and it's using all the combinations for both. And then fuzz user and then fuzz pass, which is right here. So you see this is where I'm getting this from. Fuzz user takes users.txt and plops it into right here. Fuzzpass is taking password.txt, plopping password.txt right here. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. And if we enter, we're going to get a bunch of errors, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do with it. All right, that's enough. We got a ton of errors. Well, I don't want to say errors, but we got a lot of responses. We got a lot of information here. Basically, what we're seeing is the size is 3140. That is most likely an incorrect login attempt for 3140 words 1307 line 64. These are incorrect user logins because it's repeated over and over again. So that's how you know it's incorrect. And the reason why we need to know that is because we can now filter based off of the size. So we're going to filter based off of size. So this is 3140. So if we hit the up arrow key, do the same command and do a -fs, which I think it stands for filter size, and we do 3140, this will not show us any 3140 sizes. So in theory, we should only see successful login attempts after we push enter here. So let's see what happens. And the reason why we're using FFUF over Burp Suite Intruder, Burp Suite Intruder is actually probably easier to use in my opinion because it's already set up for you. But the community version of Burp Suite Intruder is slow. As you can see, it did like 10 in like a minute. We've already done 1200 and I haven't even finished talking. So this is a lot faster. We got a lot of responses here, so we might actually need to filter based off of 3142 as well. So if we get, yeah, we might need to filter based off of that 3142. Let's try that. No, these are probably wrong too. I'm assuming these are wrong. I was, yeah. Let's go ahead and cancel this. And then we'll also filter on 3142 as well. And hit enter on that. And now, oh, it's still giving us 3142. Let me quit that. I think it needs to be comma here. 3140, comma 3142. There we go. We shouldn't get 3142 anymore after this. I think it worked. Okay, we're not getting anything, which is good because in theory it's going to take a second to figure out what the right one is. I wish you did one-on-one consulting. I don't offer that at this time, but that is interesting that you say that. What are you trying to learn? We're currently doing the, okay. I took Z security course on web testing, but wasn't sure what steps the first is if you start to do the free bounties with bigger scopes. We went through most of the PortSwigger IDORs, etc. the top 10. You had a shirt moment trying to fuzz command last night? What's a shirt moment mean? What's a shirt moment? What's up, Cypher? Thanks for stopping. Glad to see you here. Recon's basically like you're figuring everything you can about the target. You're trying to figure out like subdomains. You're trying to figure out technology stacks. You're trying to figure out just like the structure of the websites, the directory trees. Like how did this website work for bug bounties, anyways, for websites. Yeah, I don't do bug bounties. I'm not the bug bounty guy. I'm a full-time penetration tester. I can help you break into full-time penetration testing because I've something I actually done and I currently do. If you need help on that, but bug bounties has a lot of overlap with web penetration testing, but there is a lot of differences too. You know, that 3142 might actually have been like a good response. What if let's go back to the lab here. To solve the lab, enumerate a valid username. Brute force this user's password. I guess we could enumerate. We probably did this all wrong. We should have enumerated the a valid username first and then brute force that password. We're doing both simultaneously. If the list was longer, it would take longer. We'll just stick with this. I wish I could do that, but couldn't join military. My penetration testing is the goal. Wait, what do you need the military for? I mean, don't get me wrong, the military helped me out a lot, but I mean, you don't need military experience to like do anything really. I mean, I think the military is definitely a stepping stone, can definitely help you progress in life. I mean, that's what I use the military for, among other things. And then, you know, you can use the military as like I said, a stepping stone to, you know, further your career in the civilian world, which is exactly what I did. But a lot of people don't do that. I mean, plenty of people are successful without having a military career. So the military is not, while it does help and while it was a great stage in my life, it's not necessary. I mean, I guess for some people it might be, but for me, I mean, maybe I did need it, you know, maybe I don't know where I would be without the military, to be honest with you. It definitely helped me out a lot. Better way for entry. I mean, yeah, I would say it is probably makes it a little bit easier enlisting in the military. It does make it a little bit easier breaking in, for sure. But just because you can't be in the military doesn't mean you're. I mean, plenty of people are in this field that don't have military experience. I'm just doing home labs, so not sure best way to showcase without formal. I like certifications, man. That's my favorite thing. That's how I did it. But I know certifications are pretty expensive, and not everybody's a fan of certifications. So if you're in either one of those camps, then I mean, you can still build your own home lab and do write-ups and make videos to showcase your skills. Taking Security Plus soon. Good luck. I have a Security Plus video if you haven't watched it already. It tells you pretty much everything you need to know to like get going with like what kind of study materials I recommend and how to study. Security Plus is my first certification, and that is a very good way to start. Also like the GRC side of cyber. That's good. It's definitely a necessary role. Dude, we finally got one. We've been sitting here talking for a minute, dude. Like, it's been a while. And looks like we got a size 0, which is very interesting. So we got Dallas and applications. So the username is applications and the password is Dallas. Let's try that. Let's turn off intercept. Applications and then Dallas. Hey, we got it! Dude, that took a long time to brute force. That would have took all day. Oh my gosh. I'm getting all these errors now after I logged in and after I solved it, I'm getting all these errors, but it's okay. That would have took forever on burp and shooter. Like, it would have literally took all day. So that's why you have to know how to use FFUF. If you're watching the past broadcast, or even if you're watching a live stream right now and you haven't used FFUF, take a screenshot of this. I'll give you guys like 10 seconds to take a screenshot of this command. I'll even zoom in for you. Well, let me scroll back up. There you go. That's a good command to have right there. Like I said, I'm gonna give you guys like 10 seconds. Screenshot that if you want, and then we'll be moving on. That is the equivalent of a cluster bomb attack in Burp Suite. That is the equivalent. Keep in mind you have to build your own requests, which you would get from Burp. Yo, thanks Wiredall for sharing that link. I have covered many things. I have, and I am going to cover many more things. And then as my video skills get better, I might even cover the same things again, just because as I make videos, I get better at presenting videos. You know what I mean? So you might even see me not re-upload the same content, but attack the same content in a different way. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I get better at making videos. Tomorrow's video, guys, since you guys are here, you'll get the inside scoop. Only the people that watch the live streams get the inside scoop. And that's a fact. Tomorrow's video is how to learn Linux. It's a very short video. It's under 5 minutes, and it's basically just how to learn Linux. You know, what certifications you might want to consider, what kind of training platforms you might want to consider, and how I learn Linux. So if you need to learn Linux. It's not like if you're interested in learning Linux. It's like you have to know Linux to survive in this field, and there's really no way getting around it. So it's definitely going to be a good video. And like I said, it's very short. It's under 5 minutes. It's really quick. It's like, hey, check these certifications out, and this is how I learn Linux. So I'm looking forward to seeing how your guys' reaction to that video. It's a little bit of a different video for me. And if that one does well, I plan on doing like how to learn Python, how to learn networking, how to learn is actually a thing. Like how to learn, how to study, how to take notes. I got video ideas for all this stuff. But unfortunately, I can only make one video a week. I make more than one video a week. I make one video, one podcast, and then I clip up the podcast and make short versions of the podcast, because not everybody wants to watch the full podcast, which is why I clip it up that way, because people can dedicate 8 minutes to watch one video, which is a part of the podcast, and sometimes they can't dedicate a whole 30 minutes. That's why I clip it up. But yeah, for the most part, I make one podcast and one video, and I do 2 live streams, and that's all I can do. Unfortunately, I can't make more. I wish I could. Wish I could make more than that. Maybe one day, if I can get an editor, once I start getting ad revenue on the channel and I actually start making money, I can actually use that money and go pay for an editor, and then that gives me more free time to like build more stuff. Is my long-term goal here on the channel. There's so much to cover, dude. Like I gotta know. I wanna teach you guys how to do SQL injection, how to do cross-site scripting, how to use SQL map, all these tools, and some of the stuff that we're learning here, like, directory traversal, like I'd make these in like simpler, shorter nuggets of videos rather than sitting here, because it's hard to sit here and watch a live stream for like 4 hours, Everybody's got time for that. So my goal is to make bite-sized videos so you can learn quick. How long does it take to go from intensely staring at a screen to doing these smoothly? The reason why I'm laughing is because, like, bro, I don't think the intensely staring at the screen goes away, bro. There's no such thing as smoothly, bro. Like, WarDogSec remembers yesterday. I was upset, dude. I was mad yesterday. I was staring at the screen. And I was mad, bro, because it gets harder as you progress and you start learning more and more things. Like, it gets harder and harder. It's never easy. In my opinion, it never gets easy unless you're going, like, if you're taking a step back, which in this case I am, because I've already learned this stuff before. So this is easy for me, but generally speaking, like you're constantly getting in higher, harder stuff, and it doesn't go smoothly, dude. It doesn't. It comes with time, you know. But as I said, if it's going smoothly, then you're not learning. Right now, I'm not really learning because it's going very smoothly. But I'm teaching you guys how to do this. But you will get frustrated. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You will get frustrated. It's part of the literally what WireDog6 said just letting that stream is like, dude, it's part of the learning process. And he's right. It is part of the learning process. But that doesn't change the fact that I was really upset. So it's gonna happen to you. Let's go back. Did I accidentally skip one? Okay, we're good. Alright, let's moving on. Bypassing two-factor authentication. At times, implementation of two-factor authentication is flawed to the point where it can be bypassed entirely. As the user is first prompted to enter a password and then prompted to enter a verification code on a separate page, the user is effectively in a logged in state. However, they have entered the verification code. Sorry, before they've entered the verification code. In this case, it is worth testing to see if you can directly skip the logged in only pages after completing the first authentication step. Occasionally, you will find that a website doesn't actually check whether or not you completed the second step before landing the page. I didn't know that. That's actually new to me. I thought you was about to smash the keyboard. No, but my keyboard's too expensive for that. Actually, I don't know how much I paid for this keyboard. I think it was over $100. It's a nice keyboard. Alright, so lab 2FA simple bypass. This lab's two-factor authentication can be bypassed. You have already obtained a valid username and password, but do not have access to the user's 2FA verification code to solve this lab. Access Carlos's account page. Alright, so what I want to do is access the lab. We'll close out of these. Hit my account. Do I know my 2FA code? Email client. What's this mean? Oh, there's my security code. Yeah, I want to know how this works for me. Let's look at our burp history here. It gave us a new cookie once we supplied the MFA code. I've never done this before. This is brand new to me, guys. Let's hit log out and log in as Carlos here. Hit login. don't save? What if we just said, hey, hit my account? Hey, we just bypassed it. Look at that. Easy. All we had to do is just not submit the 2FA code. We just had to go back. Easy enough. Alright, easy. Refresh. Solve. Continue. What is SSRF? Server-side request forgery is a web application. Is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to cause a server-side application to make requests to an unintended location. In a typical SSRF attack, the attacker might cause the server to make a connection to internal-only services within the organization's infrastructure. In other cases, they might be able to force the server to connect to arbitrary external systems. This could leak sensitive data, such as authorization credentials. Dude, we're already halfway done with this, guys. We're making great strides. We're halfway done. And we're only an hour and a half in the stream. We might actually finish all server-side vulnerabilities in one stream. I did not expect that. When I saw 52, I was like, dude, it's going to take a long time. But this is pretty neat. We're getting through this a lot faster than I thought we were going to. And we've been talking a lot too, so these really don't take that long. But then again, like I said, I have a lot of web app experience too, so there's that. SSRF attacks against the server. In a SSRF attack against the server, the attacker causes the application to make a HTTP request back to the server that is hosting the application via its loopback network interface. This typically involves supplying a URL with a host name like 127.0.0.1, a reverse IP address that points to the loopback adapter, or localhost as commonly used name for the same adapter. For example, imagine a shopping application that lets the user view whether an item is in stock in a particular store. To provide the stock information, the application must query various back-end REST APIs. It does this by bypassing the URL to the relevant back-end API endpoint via a front-end HTTP request. When a user views the stock status for an item, their browser makes the following request. So here's the request it's making here. It's checking for a product ID. I think it's a product ID. This is URL encoded. This causes the server to make a request to the specified URL, retrieve the stock status, and return this to the user. In this example, an attacker can modify the request to specify URL local to the server. And just makes the request to localhost/admin. The server fetches the contents of /admin URL and returns it to the user. An attacker can visit the /admin URL, but the administrative functionality is normally only accessible to authenticated users. This means that attacker won't see anything of interest. However, if the request to the /admin URL comes back from the local machine, the normal access controls are bypassed. The application grants full access to the administrative functionality because the request appears to originate from a trusted location. SSRF attacks against the server continued. Why do applications behave in this way and implicitly trust requests that are coming from the local machine? This can arise for various reasons. The access control check might be implemented in a different component that sits in front of the application server. When a connection is made back to the server, the check is bypassed. For disaster recovery purposes, the application might allow administrative access without logging in to any user coming from the local machine. This provides a way for the administrator to recover the system if they lose their credentials. This assumes that only a fully trusted user would come directly from the server. The administrative interface might listen on a different port number to the main application and might not be reachable directly by users. This kind of trust relationships where requests originating from the local machine are handled differently than ordinary requests often make SSRF into a critical vulnerability. This lab has a stock check feature which fetches data from an internal system. Solve the lab, change the stock check URL to access the admin interface at http://localhost/admin, and then delete the user Carlos. Let's go ahead and copy that. Access the lab. We can close out of our last two labs. Check stock. Alright, let's check our stock API. Look at that. So if we take this and we well, let's intercept that because we can't edit it. Let's check stock in Paris. Check stock. Forward this. Here is the thing that we want to intercept. So stock API, we just gotta put in this, and we should go to the admin dashboard after this. Forward this, forward this, forward all these pings and pongs. These kind of drive me nuts. Why do they give me a bunch of pings and pongs? Alright. We're on the admin dashboard. Let's turn intercept off. Oh, here we go. See, it did fetch it. Look at that. It loaded up the whole web page and where it would normally load up the stock status. So, looks like we can probably just delete Carlos. Admin interface is only available if logged in as an administrator or requested from loopback. Let's go back. We need to do that again. Let's go intercept back on. Check stock. Forward. So we had it. So forward this, forward this, forward this, forward this, forward this, forward this, forward this. Go back over here. Forward that. Forward that. I hate these pings and pongs. It's definitely annoying. Hit delete on Carlos. Go back to our request forward. Session. I think we need a different session token. What if we did this? Target. No, not target. Proxy. HTTP history. We got two sessions here. I think if we just put the right session BN. Okay, BN is that's my token. We want this section. This looks like a admin token here. Copy this. Go back to intercept and let's replace my cookie with this admin cookie and hit forward. Hit forward again. Alright, let's look at our browser. Admin interface only available if logged in as an administrator or if requested from loopback. Well, that didn't work the way I thought it was going to work. Oh, I got it. I understand everything now. What I need to do is I need to copy this. admin/delete question mark username equals Carlos. So we got to put that at the end. So let's go back to the home. View details. We want to intercept this request. Check the stock of this. And in the stock API is http://localhost/ oh, we can just paste this /admin/delete. That should get the job done. Congratulations, you saw the lab. Look at that. Boop, boop. Did it. We deleted Carlos. Get out of here, Carlos. Keep for all these stupid pings and pongs. We go back over here and refresh. Well, we gotta turn off intercept. Solved. Look at that. Perfect. Moving on. SSRF attacks against other backend systems. In some cases, the application server is able to interact with backend systems that are not directly reachable by users. These systems often have non-routable private IP addresses. The backend systems are normally protected by network topology, so they often have a weaker security posture. In many cases, internal backend systems contain sensitive functionality that can be accessed without authentication by anyone who is able to interact with the systems. In the previous example, imagine there is an administrator interface on the backend URL. You know, it's pretty much the same thing except instead of localhost, it's 192.168.0.68. An attacker can submit the following request to exploit SSRF vulnerability and access the administrative interface. Same thing, but different IP. This lab has a stock check feature which fetches data from an internal system. To solve the lab, use the stock check functionality to scan the internal 192.168.0.x range for an admin interface on port 8080, then use it to delete the user Carlos. Alright, let's do pretty much the same thing. We're going to view details, and then we're going to turn on intercept. Then we're going to check the stock. So you can see we got 192.168.0.1. So that's cool. We can actually, if we do right click, URL decode, now it's easier to read. So all we have to do, I'm assuming it's going to be the same endpoint as before. So I'm just going to take a guess here and paste in /admin. The pretty much the same thing we did last time. Except for we don't want Carlos 1. And we'll just forward that forward. We'll just forward this a bunch of times. That should do the trick. Let's refresh. Did we get it? Oh, we gotta turn intercept off. That didn't work. Okay. Turn intercept back on. Let's try that again. Cannot fetch stock levels. Let's convert selection, decode URL, and then let's just do /admin. Where should I send this to repeater? And then what we are going to do is we're going to encode that with Control U. Hit forward on this. Hit forward on this. Alright, did we get... Cannot fetch stock levels. This one's a lot different than the last one. I hate these pings and these pongs. These are the most annoying things. Like, I've never seen this in a web app before. Or just like ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. It just won't stop. Because I can't fetch the stock levels. Alright, well, what the heck. Let's turn off intercept then. It fetches stock levels there. Let's go back over to proxy, HTTP history. Let's see what this says. I don't know why I can't decode this. Oh, because it's not in my intercept or in repeater. That makes sense. Maybe it's a different IP address. Use the stock functionality to scan the internal. For an admin interface on port 8080. Okay. So we're going to have to use our good friend FFUF again. Let's go ahead and send this to... Actually, I already have a thing in my repeater. Let's go back to repeater. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this one and type in fuzz. And then what we're going to do is we're going to... right click, copy the file, and we're going to replace our request.txt. Yepper. Now we're going to do FFUF. It's going to be almost the same thing, but this time we only want one word list. So the word list we're going to use is user share wordless fuzzing, no, secless fuzzing. We want like 1 through 1,000. We only need to 255 because IP address only go to 255. But this one will work, so we don't have to build a brand new word list. And this should, we don't want mode cluster bomb. Let's get rid of mode cluster bomb here. This should work. Alright, let's go ahead and click cancel on that. And then we want to take size 2350 -fs 2350. Push enter on that, and hopefully we get a good response somewhere. Once it goes past 255, we know. Okay, well, hold on. It says 009. How did 009 work? Oh, because it starts with 00000. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't do 1, 2, 3, 4. It does 001, 002. Sorry about that. My cat, I had to yell at my cat. He's eating cardboard and plastic. Like, why? Why, bro? Why are you eating cardboard and plastic? He loves eating plastic. I don't know what his deal is. Alright. What was he doing? Oh, yeah, we need a word list that says 1 through 255. So, well, we can just make one real quick. Man, I am such a lazy programmer anymore. I just got ChatGPT to help me build word lists. Create a Python script that prints 1 through 255 into a file called IPs. No. Easy. We can do nano 255.py. Paste this. Do Python 3 255. It's literally easier to do that. We can do cat output.txt. Yep, there we go. Cool. It's so much easier to just use like typing all that out would have took me way longer, which is why I just use ChatGPT all the time anymore. Okay, here we go. We want output.txt as our word list. $23.50. I forgot that. -fs 2350. Okay, here we go. 9. You see 9 right there? 9 works. Well, remember 009 worked? I guess interesting. 009 worked. Should have just tried that. So we did find it with our first word list. I just didn't think it worked because I didn't think IPs worked like that, but I guess they do. Okay, so if we do .9, and then we're just gonna supply the same thing here. Admin delete user Carlos. Let's just send that. See what happens. I don't think that worked. Let's see if that worked. To refresh. Yep, it worked. Perfect. Alright, moving on. Moving on. Dang, we only got 20 lives left. We're doing good. What are file upload vulnerabilities? File upload vulnerabilities are when a web server allows users to upload files to its file system without sufficiently validating things like their name, type, contents, or size. Failing to properly enforce restrictions on these could mean that even a basic image upload function can be used to upload arbitrary and potentially dangerous files instead. This could even include server-side scripts files that enable remote code execution. Guys, should I zoom in on these? Can you read these okay? I just realized that you guys probably couldn't read those as good as I could. This could even include server-side script files that enable remote code execution. In some cases, the act of uploading the file is in itself enough to cause damage. Other attacks may involve a follow-up HTTP request for the file, typically to trigger its execution by the server. How do file upload vulnerabilities arise? Given the fairly obvious dangers, it's rare for websites in the wild to have no restrictions whatsoever on which files users are allowed to upload. More commonly, developers implement what they believe to be a robust validation that is either inherently flawed or can be easily bypassed. For example, they may attempt to blacklist dangerous file types, but fail to account for parsing discrepancies when checking the file extensions. As with any blacklist, it's also easy to accidentally omit more obscure file types that may still be dangerous. In other cases, the website may attempt to check the file type by verifying properties that can be easily manipulated by an attacker using tools like burp proxy or repeater. Ultimately, even robust validation measures may be applied inconsistently across the network of hosts and directories that form the website, resulting in discrepancies that can be exploited. Exploiting unrestricted file uploads to deploy a web shell. From a security perspective, the worst possible scenario is when a website allows you to upload server-side scripts such as PHP, Java, or Python files and is also configured to execute them as code. This makes it trivial to create your own web shell on a server. Web shell. A web shell is a malicious script that enables an attacker to execute arbitrary commands on a remote web server simply by sending HTTP requests to the right endpoint. If you are able to successfully upload a web shell, you effectively have full control over the server. This means you can read and write arbitrary files, exfiltrate sensitive data, even use the server to pivot attacks against both internal infrastructure and other servers outside the network. For example, the following PHP one-liner could be used to read arbitrary files from the server's file system. Like that. Once uploaded, sending a request for the malicious file will return the target file's contents to the response. A more versatile web shell may look something like this. This script enables you to pass any arbitrary system command via a query parameter as follows. You can see right here, give an ID command. Lab, remote code execution via web shell upload. This lab contains a vulnerable image upload function. It doesn't perform any validation on the files users upload before storing them on the server's file system. To solve this lab, upload a basic PHP shell and use it to exfiltrate the contents of file home Carlos secret. Submit the secret using the button provided in the lab banner. You can log in on your own account using the following credentials. Wiener, Pete. Access the lab. Close out these other two labs that we already completed. Alright, so we just need to upload a web shell. So we can actually go back. And let's copy this. And let's go ahead and clear this out. And we will nano web shell.php. And we'll paste the contents there. Save that. If we cat web shell.php, we have a file with that. And that should be all we need to complete this, I think. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, let's log into my account. Alright, we can upload files here. So hit browse. We'll go to root. We'll go to Web Academy and we will upload the web shell. Upload. Back to my account. Alright, so let's open. So you can see it took the upload and our file image is broke because it's not an actual image, so it's why it's broken. But if we right click and hit open image in a new tab, you can see that we have the web shell here. So I think, how did it go? I think it's question mark command equals ID. There we go. Perfect. And all I have to do is we do quote cat slash user. No. What was the file we need to get? Home Carlos secret. That should work. No. Let's get rid of the quotes. Copy this. And we are going to URL encoder. And we're going to encode that. So encode. And we're going to submit this because I think it has to be URL encoded. That just makes sense to me. Paste that in there. See if that works. See if that does the trick. That did the trick. There it is. We said the URL encode it. Perfect. Oop. Easy peasy. Where's the dashboard? Submit solution. Paste. Okay. The answer is incorrect. How's that incorrect? What else? What else could it be, bro? Dude, I don't understand how that's incorrect. I got the secret. That's wild to me, dude. Huh? I forget the file again. Home Carlos secret. Let's encode that again. Yeah, if we do command who am I, so we know it's working, right? Yeah, Carlos, that's working. ID, that's working. Let's do command. Bro, how's this? Let's try this. Instead of that, let's do cat etsy pass WD. Oh, well, that's it. We're gonna delete this first line too. This should give us the contents of Etsy password. Yeah. So this is working. I can read anything I want. I can execute commands just fine. Everything's working. So why is this not the secret? That doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I need to revert it. I don't know. That's definitely the answer though. Let out my mind. I don't understand how I'm getting that wrong. I don't know how to revert the machine, or like not revert the machine. It's like how can I revert the lab? Like just load it up again. I mean, it didn't use the same thing as I use, but I can read the file, so I don't understand why. Oh, you know what? I understand everything now. I understand everything. Because when I was doing, so here's what it was. So when I did ID, popped up twice. When I did who am I, popped up twice. When I did Etsy password, ideally we should see 2 roots. So we'll just search for root real quick to find the second instance of it. So there's the first. No. Anyways, I'm pretty sure that it just put it in here twice. I think this is the answer right here. Just half of that. It's not the whole thing. It's just half of this. So see, it repeats itself. KM. Yeah, right there. Gosh. Dude, this song's a banger. We listen to this artist, Carl Casey, White Bat Audio, all the time. And this is the first time I've heard this one. I feel like every other time I've heard the song a million times, but this is the first time I heard this one. This is a banger. This should be right. Did it. Hit refresh on this. And continue. Exploiting flawed validation of file uploads. In the wild, it is unlikely that you'll find a website that has no protection against file upload attacks like we saw in the previous lab. Just because defenses are in place, that doesn't mean that they're robust. You can sometimes still exploit flaws in these mechanisms to attain a web shell for remote code execution. Continue. Flawed file type validation. When submitting HTML forms, the browser typically sends the provided data in a post request with a content type application / x-www / form URL encoded. This is fine for sending simple text like your name or address. However, it isn't suitable for sending large amounts of binary data such as an entire image file or a PDF document. In this case, a content type of multi-part form data is preferred. Flawed file type validation continued. Consider a form containing fields for uploading an image, providing a description of it, and entering your username. Submitting such a form might result in a request that looks something like this. And this is your standard data form. We're going to see that here in a minute in a more practical instance. As you can see, the message body is split into separate parts for each of the form's inputs. Each part contains a content disposition header, which provides some basic information about the input field it relates to. These individual parts may also contain their own content type header, which tells the server the MIME type of the data that was submitted using this input. Flawed file type validation continued. One way that websites may attempt to validate file uploads is to check that this input specific content type header matches an expected MIME type. If the server is only expecting image files, for example, it may only allow types like image JPEG or image PNG. We did this actually a few streams ago on Hack the Box. Actually, no, it was the last stream, the one that was actually driving me nuts yesterday, the one that made me mad because we couldn't get this to work. We ended up getting it eventually. Problems can arise when the value of this header is implicitly trusted by the server if no further validation is performed to check whether the contents of the file actually match the supposed MIME type. This defense can be easily bypassed using tools like Burp Repeater. This lab contains a vulnerable image upload function. It attempts to prevent users from uploading unexpected file types, but relies on checking user controllable input to verify this. To solve the lab, upload a basic PHP web shell and use it to exploit contents of same file as before. Submit the secret using the button provided in the lab banner. Alright, cool. We just gotta bypass, well, we're probably gonna need URL encoder. Let's go reopen, close tab. Go ahead and my account and we will log into my account. And let's go ahead and upload the same web shell as before. Upload that. Sorry, file type not allowed. So PHP not allowed, only image JPEG and image PNG are allowed. So we're actually just going to copy this and we're going to go back. And then we're going to intercept this request. Go back to our proxy, intercept, turn intercept on, and then we're going to hit alright, forward that. We're going to upload this, and that just got intercepted. So go back to burp intruder, not intruder, our proxy, intercept, forward. Is this what we're intercepting? I don't think it is. I think it's a request from probably the encoder website. Okay, here we go. So content type, let's just change this to image PNG and hit forward. Okay, man, everything's coming in. Alright. It has been uploaded. Okay, cool. Back to my account. Let's go. Okay, looks like it works. So let's do open image and no, copy. Yeah, open image in new tab. There we go. And then if we do the same command as last time, should work. So we do question mark command equals paste enter. Oh, that's Etsy password. We don't want that. We want home Carlos secret, and let's encode that. And then we will copy this. It worked though. We bypassed the file upload and our web shell is working. And there we go. We just got to figure out where this gets split at. So the last two letters is XQT. XQT. So that is the beginning. Boom. Oh, all right. Kind of Linux copy and paste like selection is kind of weird. Like it's really frustrating sometimes. All right, let's go submit solution. Paste. Boom. Done. Enter. Man, these are easy. We are making so much more progress than I anticipated. I did not think we would get this far. I literally titled the stream number 0 because I thought I was going to do like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. I seriously thought it was going to take a long time. I even said in the stream like, oh, this might take me years to get through if I only do one stream a week. But honestly, if I can do an entire learning path a stream, keep in mind these are the apprentice ones, which is these are easier, so but also the practitioner ones are actually shorter too, so there's that. But I'm happy with the progress we're making today. I did not expect this to go so fast. I thought this would be a little more challenging, to be honest with you. But it's good for beginners. I mean, this is absolutely good for beginners, 100%. I'm actually looking forward to the harder ones as we progress. But I always like starting at the beginning on the bottom, just to refresh my memory and to make sure I don't miss anything. So I'm sure. Well, we got OS command injection next, and then after that we got SQL injection, and then we're done. So we're very close. We only have 10 more pages to read. What is OS command injection? OS command injection is also known as shell injection. It allows an attacker to execute operating system OS commands on the server that is running an application and typically fully compromise the application and its data. Often, an attacker can leverage an OS command injection vulnerability to compromise other parts of the hosting infrastructure and exploit trust relationships to pivot the attack to other systems within the organization. Useful commands. After you identify an OS command injection vulnerability, it is useful to execute some initial commands to obtain information about the system. Below is a summary of some commands that are used on Linux and Windows platforms. And I'll let you guys look at that. Pretty basic commands there. Injecting OS commands. In this example, a shopping application lets a user view whether an item is in stock in a particular store. This information is accessed via URL. What they're going to like and ID equals and then command here. To provide the stock information, the application must query various legacy systems. For historical reasons, the functionality is implemented by calling out to a shell command with the product and store IDs as arguments. Stockreport.pl 3D129. This command outputs the stock status for the specified item, which is returned to the user. Injecting OS commands continued. The application whoa, I just scrolled. I did not scroll. The application implements no defenses against OS command injection, so an attacker can submit the following input to execute an arbitrary command and echo, and then whatever command you want to run. If the input is submitted in the product ID parameter, the command executed by the application is and echo. That's not a real command, by the way. At least I don't think. I ain't never seen that. That's a weird. It's just some other command. The echo command causes the supplied string to be echoed to the output. This is useful way to test for types of OS command injection. The ampersand character is a shell command separator. In this example, it causes 3 separate commands to execute one after another. The output returned to the user is error, product ID was not provided. command not found. The 3 lines of output demonstrate that. The original stock report.po command was executed without its expected arguments, so therefore returned an error message. Injected echo. Oh, I'm silly. I'm like, did not realize that they put echo here. I saw like, this isn't a command. Let me rewind that. The echo is absolutely a real command. They're literally just echoing like this random string of characters. So that's actually all of the valve. AEI. No, it's not. I don't know what that is. Anyways, echo is a real command. I don't know why I oversaw that. So sorry about that if I confuse you. The injected echo command was executed and supply string was echoed to the output. The original argument 29 was executed as a command which caused an error. Placing the additional command separator ampersand after the injected command is useful because it separates the injected command from whatever follows the injection point. This reduces the chance that what follows will prevent the injected command from executing. So that's nice to know after the command. Let's go ahead and read this. OS command injection simple case. This lab contains an OS command injection vulnerability to the product stock checker. The application executes a shell command containing user supplied product and store IDs and returns the raw output from the command in its response. So the lab execute the whoami command to determine the name of the current user. Close out of our other. Do I have credentials for this? I do not. It's okay. Get view details. Check stock. Okay. I think we need to intercept this again. Let's go ahead and close out of this. Oh, these are the ads from that site coming in. That's what it is. Check stock. Product ID 1. What if I do and space and who am I? Let's and they said put the ampersand after it as well. Let's URL encode that. Send this to repeater. Did that work? I don't see my user in the line 5. Try who am I -s help for more information. Who am I extra operand 1. What if we do 2 ampersands? Let's get rid of the 1. Missing parameter, store ID. Alright. Let's put another ampersand. Let's URL encode these. Let's try that. See, it's doing who am I space 1 is what it's doing. So we got command execution. I just gotta figure out how to ignore this 1. What if I just comment this out? Can I comment this out? like to say, hey, let's comment this out, and then Control U. Let's try that. Who am I? Oh, what? Okay. Let's try a semicolon. Huh. Let's see, who am I? Space. Ampersand. Dang. We're on something. We got like halfway working, but we don't have it all the way working. Well, let's just get rid of this then. Can we just say, hey, just product ID and store ID equals 1, and then let's put the command in the back end. Who am I? Peter JNFM1V. So that worked. So we should have a success now on our lab. So let's refresh this. We still have intercept turned on. Let's turn intercept off. Solve. Easy. What is SQL injection? SQLI. SQL injection is a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database. This can allow an attacker to view data that they are not normally able to retrieve. This might include data that belongs to other users or other data that the application can access. In many cases, an attacker can modify or delete this data, causing persistent changes to the application's content or behavior. In some situations, an attacker can escape an SQLI injection attack to compromise the underlying server or other backend infrastructure. It can also enable them to perform denial of service attacks. How to detect SQL injection vulnerabilities. You can detect SQL injection manually using a systematic set of tests against every entry point in the application. To do this, you could typically submit a single quote character and look for errors or other anomalies, some SQL specific syntax that evaluates to the base original value of that entry point and to a different value, and look for systematic differences in application responses, Boolean conditions such as or 1 equals 1 or 1 equals 2, and look at differences in the application's responses, payloads designed to trigger time delays when executed within a SQL query, and look for differences in the same time taken to respond. OAS payloads, I don't know what an OAS payload is, what the heck? OAS payloads designed to trigger an outbound network interaction when executed within a SQL query and monitor any resulting interactions. Alternatively, you can find the majority of SQL injection vulnerabilities quickly and reliably using Burp Scanner. Retrieving hidden data. Imagine a shopping application that displays products in different categories. When the user clicks on gifts category, their browser requests the URL. Alright, makes sense. Track it so far. This causes the application to make a SQL query to retrieve details and of the relevant products from the database. Select anything. I just automatically assume, like when I see an asterisk in SQL, I just think that is anything. Select anything, or I guess it's everything. Select everything from products where category equals gifts and released equals 1. This SQL query asks the database to return all details asterisk from the products table where the category is gifts and release is 1. The restriction release equals 1 is being used to hide products that are not released. We can assume for unreleased products released equals 0. Alright. Retrieving hidden data continued. The application doesn't implement any defenses against SQL injection attacks. This means an attacker can construct the following attack, for example, https://insecurewebsite.com products category equals gif quote -- This results in the SQL query gifs in release equals 1. Crucially, note that -- is a common indicator in SQL. Comment indicator. This means that the rest of the query is interpreted as comment, eventually removing it. In this example, this means the query no longer includes and release equals 1. As a result, all products are displayed, including those that are not yet released. You can use a similar attack to cause the application to display all the products in any category, including categories that they don't know about. So we got gifs, quote, or 1 equals 1 -- This results in the SQL query. Select everything from products where category equals gifs or 1 equals 1, which is true. When then it got this comment out, so it should give us everything, and then release equals 1. The modified SQL returns all items where either the category is gifs or 1 is equal to 1, as 1 equals 1 is always true. The query returns all items. Warning: take care when injecting the condition or 1 equals 1 into a SQL query. Even if it appears to be harmless in the context you're injecting into, it's common for applications to use data from a single request in multiple different queries. If the condition reaches an update or delete statement, for example, it can result in an accidental loss of data. If your condition reaches an update or delete statement, for example, it can result in an accidental loss of data. Lab: SQL injection vulnerability and where clause align retrieval of hidden data. The lab contains a SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. When the user selects a category, the application carries out a SQL query like the following. Select everything from products where category equals gifs and release equals 1. Saw the lab perform a SQL injection attack that caused the application to display one or more unreleased products. Alright, sounds easy enough. This is what's getting submitted. So if we just go back, you can literally if we just copy this, that should be all we need. Let's get a no, let's get accessories. Category equals accessories. So we'll just get rid of gifts. So we'll do accessories quote -- Dude, we got the giant pillow thing unlocked. That's not released yet. We got the giant pillow. Did that work? I'm assuming that worked. I think that's a lab win right there. I think that's all it was. That was pretty easy. Are we... This is not solved. We didn't do it. One or more unreleased products. What? I thought that was it. If I hit accessories. Yeah. Let's go back. What if I hit view details? Maybe that's what I need. Giant pillow thing. Because why not? Yeah, why not? Of course you want a giant pillow thing. I don't know how that's not a lab win. That's definitely not on the main website. Let's look for some other things, I guess. Maybe it wants us to get a particular... Oh, I did not mean to do that. Go back. Let's go back to the home. The giant grasshopper, dude. See, we gotta read this description. We have to read this. If you are one of those antisocial people who like to sit in a corner and try not to catch anyone's eye, you probably know it doesn't always work. There will always be annoyingly cheery people who think you must be lonely and great. Great crash? What does that even mean? Gate crash your tranquility with mundane chit chat. We breed our grasshoppers to an enormously threatening size and train them to bite using the key word bite. This is particularly useful when other pet owners aren't put off by its peculiarities and insist on chatting animal with you. The grasshoppers are surprisingly easy to keep. They would keep your home free of bugs and vermin and need little else to eat. They're slightly jumpy around being taken out on a leash. But with practice, you will find a way to fall in step quite quickly. This particular breed has an exceptionally long lifespan and can be passed down through the generations. The grasshopper hasn't been cat, dog, or child tested, so we highly recommend not having any visit your home. It can be housed with other grasshoppers, and older, quiet one could help to show it the ropes and understand the rules of the house. Bro, what the heck did I just read? Alright. That's not for sale, bro. I accessed an unreleased item. How am I not having the lab solved? Attack that causes the application to display one or more unreleased products. Huh. An alternative Christmas tree. Alright, we did that. I mean, we didn't do that, but... See food and drink now. Just quote and... Okay, so this is all stuff that they're not supplying. I don't know, man. I've literally revealed every single unreleased item that they have. Let's try the or 1 equals 1. Oh. It wants me to... Okay. We did it. 3D voice assistant. Dude, I want one of those. Sick, dude. Alright. That was cool. Alright, we had to do the 1 equals 1. That's what we were doing wrong. I mean, we were revealing unreleased stuff, but I guess it needed more than that. Solved. Cool. Subverting application logic. Imagine an application that lets users log in with the username and password. If a username submits the password wiener and the username wiener and the password blue cheese, the application checks the credentials by performing the following SQL query. Select everything from users where username equals wiener and password equals blue cheese. If the query returns the details of a user, then the login is successful. Otherwise, it is rejected. In this case, an attacker can log in as any user without the need for a password. They can do this using the SQL comment sequence -- to remove the password and check from the where clause of the query. For example, submitting the username administrator quote -- and a blank password results in the following query. Select everything from users where username equals administrator and password equals nothing. This query returns the user whose username is administrator and successfully logs the attacker in as that user. That's pretty easy. The slide contains a SQL injection vulnerability, the login function. To solve the left, perform a SQL injection attack that logs into the application as an administrator user. Let's go to my account. Single quote -- see if that works. Please fill out this field. All right, we'll just put anything there, and that worked. Cool. That one was incredibly easy. I thought SQL injection was going to be a little harder, but that was actually probably the easiest lab that we did out of all the labs. Like, I think that one took the least amount of time. The last one. Let's go ahead and refresh and hit continue. Well done. You completed server-side vulnerabilities. We did it. We completed every single one of them. I did not expect this. If you rewind and watch this, the beginning of the stream, I was like, oh, it's going to take us a few days to get through server-side vulnerabilities. I seriously thought it's going to be harder. And we did it in under 3 hours. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. We can't find a new learning path. So I should say some. Look at that. Completed November 1st. Where are these guys located at? It's not even midnight here on the East Coast of America. It's still 31st over here, October 31. So it's PortSwigger, a European country. Doesn't matter. We completed it. So now we gotta find more learning paths. Which one should we do next week, guys? We can do one of these a week, I feel like. The fact that I knocked out 52 in a single day, in a single stream, gives me confidence that I can knock out all of these. Like one per week. And then we can structure it that way. I mean, like I said, we still have more time, but I don't want to do half of a learning path. If we can do one learning path per stream, I think that would be ideal. What do you guys think? Makes it nice and easy to structure. We got API testing, web LLM attacks, cross-site request forgery, clickjacking, GraphQL, cores, NoSQL injection, race conditions, SQL injection, authentication vulnerabilities, server-side request forgery attacks, prototype pollution. I don't even know what that is. This learning path introduces you to prototype pollution vulnerabilities in JavaScript. You'll learn what prototype pollution is, how it can be exploited, and how to prevent it in your applications. Huh. That might be the one I gotta do. So we should focus on the areas that I don't know. Well, we should focus on my weaknesses. Well, I should focus on my weaknesses, which in this case, I would say WebSockets vulnerabilities would be nice to know. Web cache deception, not too versed in that. File upload vulnerabilities, like, I understand it. Patch reversal, pretty understandable. I would say prototype pollution is a brand new thing to me. What else? Race conditions. I haven't really messed with race conditions that much. I know what it means and and I've heard the term before, and I know what it is, and I know the definitions and terms around, but I've never exploited anything like that. Same thing with clickjacking. Term I know, but I don't really know what it means really, like in practice, you know. GraphQL would be nice to know. Cross origin and resource sharing. Cores. I messed with cores a little bit. These are all good stuff. Well, I think that's going to be the end of the stream, guys. And I want to thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out. If you haven't followed the channel already, hit the follow button if you're on Kick or Twitch. If you are on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. Let me know if you want to see more of this or less of this or none of this. Keep in mind, we are still going to be doing our Hack the Box live streams on Sundays. Matter of fact, Sunday's stream is actually going to be delayed a little bit. And the reason why it's going to be delayed a little bit is because I got an exam for a certification, and I need to push back the stream because I have a certification exam. I will schedule that stream pretty much sometime later tonight, and you guys will know. So just don't be surprised if Sunday's live stream this week is delayed and pushed further back than what it usually is. Like I said, I got a exam that I'm going to be doing, and I need to use all the time that I have allotted to me. Try to get another certification, and I'll let you guys know how that goes on Sunday. And then when I get the certification, I'll probably most likely make a video about it. And if you haven't checked out my podcast, check it out. It's The Hacker's Cache. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on every podcast app, actually. Not everyone, but the major ones anyways. And then it's on YouTube as well. YouTube's the best place to view the podcast because it's also a video podcast, not audio only. It is a video podcast. So if you want to see the video, go to the YouTube channel to see that. And it supports the channel the most by watching on YouTube because YouTube's kind of my main platform right now. And then we'll also do more. I'm going to look at the stats on this one. We'll keep doing the PortSwigger Web Academy, but if the numbers aren't there, guys, if the views aren't very high, then I'll probably jump off these PortSwigger labs because I feel like today we had a lot less interaction, and that just tells me that you know, you guys might not want it as much, and I'm here to stream what you guys want to watch. That's the main thing, right? I figured I'd try this because this is something that I personally need to do, but if we want to hop on, we can do other stuff like try-hack-me and Pico CTF, and there's all kinds of other pen test labs that we can be doing. So I definitely pay attention to the stats, and let me know if you guys want to see something else over PortSwigger Web Academy labs. Alright guys, enough rambling. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you in the next stream. Also, if you haven't checked out my YouTube channel, I have tons of videos. And I have one dropping tomorrow. And the one that's dropping tomorrow is how to learn Linux. It's going to be a good one. It's a short one, but a good one. Alright guys, peace out. Take care. Have a good one. Kyser.